controlling financial mistakes to ensure that your small business does not fail. Today's episode is brought to you by Freshbooks, the accounting software built for small businesses. When you're starting a small business, tracking your money is the most important step. Freshbooks is there to help you from day one so that your business never falters. To find out how Freshbooks can help your business grow, go to servenomaster.com/Freshbooks now.
Are you tired of dealing with your boss? Do you feel underpaid and underappreciated? If you want to make it online, fire your boss and start living your retirement dreams now, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Serve No Master Podcast, where you'll learn how to open new revenue streams and make money while you sleep. Presented live from a tropical island in the South Pacific by best-selling author Jonathan Green. Now, here's your host.
Poor financial management during the infancy of your business can eventually destroy you. It's very important to be fiscally strict, fiscally responsible, fiscally disciplined at the start of your business during this phase right now. If you've read my book, Serve No Master, if you read some of my blog, you listen to some of the other podcasts, you know that I'm a believer of spending out of the profits. I'm not a big believer of investing huge amounts of money at the beginning of a business. I like to develop a proven business model, and once it's working, then I'll invest more money in it. This is me being fiscally disciplined. Right now, when you're at the early phases trying to learn how to build your first business, learning how to develop secondary and tertiary revenue streams, one of the things that you'll do is run into courses. Now, I sell courses on my website. That's true. What I don't want you to do is go and buy all of my courses. Okay. I teach different methods for making money online, different skill sets. One of my courses is about how to become a nonfiction writer. I teach my research method, my methodology, my structuring, and also how I find clients and how I price out different projects and how to work your way up from a bottom price writer up to a top price writer. That's one methodology that I teach. And that way you can follow that path and then get writing gigs. You can follow that simple path. And I have other courses that go in other directions. What happens is if you buy a bunch of courses, whether it's a bunch of mine or a bunch of different people, whatever, you end up spending a lot of money and you're not fiscally responsible. As much as it's great for me if you buy all my courses at once, please don't do it. Buy one, go through it, make your money back, and then once you've made profits from that first course, then invest in another course. That's the approach to business that will lead you to being successful in the long term. We have this instant gratification mindset in our culture. This is why everyone's in debt. This is why we spend money we don't have. And when you spend money you don't have, you spend years paying off those credit cards. You buy a house that you don't actually have the money for. It takes you 30 years to actually own it. When you buy a car, it takes 6 years or longer. Some credit cards, people end up taking 10 years to pay them off. And student loans, there are people that pay off their student loans in their mid or late 50s. 30 years later, you're still paying off your college tuition. That's brutal. And that's because we have the instant gratification mindset. I want to enjoy it now and pay later. You need to disconnect that mindset from your business. If you bought my book on Amazon, I know the price is always fluctuating because Amazon price tests. If you spent, say, $7 or $8, you need to write that down in a spreadsheet as a business expense. And you need to say, hey, I need to make that money back to justify that expense. Now in the book, I do share with you a couple of different ways to make $5 here and $5 there very quickly with some programs that I use. But what you really need to think about is what is going out financially. Most people, we get so caught up and excited about things. We buy courses. We buy too many courses. Then we buy really expensive software, top of the line tech, or we get the developer's license of everything. And we end up spending money every month. We have $20 going here, $20 going there, $50 going there. We don't track it. Sometimes someone will buy a course for $1,000, then they'll make $200. Like, hey, I'm killing it. I'm making money online. But you're still operating at an $800 loss because you're not tracking your money. You need to track your ins and outs. Now, I am not naturally good at accounting, naturally good with tracking money in this way. I hate doing it. This is why I have a bookkeeper to really help me with my numbers all the time. She's much more in tune with all these different little things. But we talk every couple of days to make sure that I'm tracking what's going on and all those things. But when you spend money, that's money leaving the business. The mindset starts with, this is a business. If you think of making money online as a hobby or you're listening to this podcast as entertainment, we spend money out of our entertainment budget. We never expect to make it back. We don't have the same philosophy. If you spend money from the business, you need to make the money back. Ins and outs, assets and negative assets, right? We think of money that way. But if it's a movie, we go to the movie, pay $7, $20, whatever the current movie ticket price is where you live. You don't expect to get the money back. So you think it was entertainment budget and you have the entertainment mindset. So you need to separate the entertainment mindset from what you're doing online. As long as you're trying to dabble or as long as you're having a bit of fun online, you'll never succeed because you won't be serious about it. And I have friends that have spent thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on software, products, training that they don't implement because for them it's fun. They're having a bit of fun, kind of like gambling. It's the same friends actually I have. These are my same friends that gamble too much. It's the same mindset where they don't take it seriously. So if you have the mindset where making money online is a gamble or it's a risk or it's a game, then you'll struggle. I want you to start off with the mindset of anything I spend, I need to make back. I need to track what I spend. I need to pay attention to what's going out every month to make sure that what's coming in is more. If you spend a bunch of money, you spend $2,000 or $5,000 on something and you're making back $500 a month, well, you're not making any profit for the first 10 months. You're still operating at a loss. And these numbers are very important when you want to exit your business and sell it or whether you're looking for investment. These are the numbers that everyone's looking at. Starting from the beginning, you want to take certain steps to show to yourself and alter your mindset so that you act like this is a business, you act fiscally responsible. And that means getting a business bank account. That means getting a business tax ID number if you're in America, both of which are free. They don't cost anything to set these up. And that way, when you spend money or when you make money, you can see it because it's all in one account. We all start off like, hey, I'm a solo entrepreneur. So I just use my social security number to, make my business transactions. The mingling, not only does it affect your finances and can lead to you getting audited or cause problems if you get really successful, it also affects your mindset because your entertainment expense comes out of the same account as your business expenses. So it's all mixed up. The sooner you can isolate the different funds and you don't have to have a lot of money in the business account. Just put $100 in there. You don't have to spend it. You can just look at the account and see it going up or down and knowing this is profits and losses. The more you begin to develop this sense of financial responsibility, the more you'll act like a business owner. Business owners act differently than entrepreneurs. People that wish they were entrepreneurs. I watch every TV show where people seek investment in their businesses. I watch all of them. I watch all the shows where people look for some rich person who owns another company to come in and give them advice and help them grow their own business or inject cash or all of those things. I always watch how those businesses operate. And the businesses that take money seriously are always the ones that do the best. The businesses with the messed up books and the owner is kind of casual about money going in and going out, those are the businesses that struggle the most. I'm seeing businesses where they're making $2 million in transactions and then they're making like $30,000 in profit. 97% of the money is disappearing and they don't know where it's going. That's what can happen. See, if you're not fiscally responsible with small amounts, you'll really struggle with big amounts. And this is something I experienced. This is a lesson I learned the hard way. I'm not someone who started off doing these things right. When I finally did set up my own business bank account, when I finally switched from an S Corp to a real business to a proper LLC and all those things and started really separating my business from my personal stuff, it was really a big struggle because I mingled stuff for 2 or 3 years for no reason, just because I didn't really understand. I didn't really understand what I was doing. I was kind of intimidated and I was just busy trying to make enough money for each month. When you start to create a business account, when you start to track expenses and ins and outs with the business mindset, you'll be much more serious. You'll start to make more serious decisions and the way you work will become more efficient. If you're just having a bit of fun and you're working on your blog, you might spend 5 or 6 hours just messing around with some little design elements because you're just having a bit of fun. You want to make it look nice because you're having fun. When it's a business, you're more thinking about what can I do that will generate the most revenue? What will be the most efficient decision I can make today? If I'm going to write a blog post, I want a blog post that drives traffic. Or should I spend some time working on social media to generate more traffic? Or should I work on finding things to promote? Should I work on my mailing list? These other different elements become more important because they have a quicker return on investment. What you're building here is not a passion project. It's not something driven by emotion. It's not something for you to show your friends and be proud of. None of those things matter to me. None of those things are what I'm teaching you. The only purpose of a website is to make money. The only purpose of my website is to make money. Now, there are other things that happen if you visit my website. If you go to Serve No Master, You'll see tons of blog posts and videos and tons of free information. Loads of information. But the purpose of all that information is to build fans, to connect with people, to provide information where they eventually want to go on and listen to my podcast or buy my book or even buy one of my other courses. That's what a business is all about. If I didn't want to make any money, I wouldn't have any courses. My books would all be free and I would be living in poverty. With any business I work on, with any structure I develop, the mindset is always about building something that can make money. And that's what I'm teaching you. I want to teach you something that makes more money. I want you to make more money listening to this podcast than you spend on anything you buy from me or anywhere else. I want you to be profitable because I want us to have a long-term amazing relationship. That's the correct mindset for a successful business. That's my mindset, and that should be your mindset. As you're spending time here, as you're listening to podcasts and deciding what you're going to do, always think about every decision as a business expense. When I first started making money online, I remember it so vividly. I saw this amazing course came out and it had my attention. It was all about using videos for local marketing. So I would approach like a local car dealership, say, hey, let me make a bunch of commercials for you, put them on the internet, we'll drive a bunch of traffic and you'll sell more cars. That was kind of the idea. Now the course was, I think, $3,000. I didn't have that kind of money. I had $500 left on my credit card. I was really struggling. And I said, hey, I can spend this $500, but I have to make $500 in profit from this course every month for the next 6 months to make the 6 payments. And that's exactly what I did. It was a business expense. I worked really hard to make sure that every month I could pay off $500 before that next payment came through, before that next tap on my credit card. I had that business mindset and I was forced there because I was young and had maxed out credit cards, which is the worst place you ever want to be. But I went through all of that. So I know what that struggle is like. And the way I succeeded, the way I built a business was, hey, I've spent money. I have to make it back. I don't have a choice. That mindset will help you when you're sitting down and going, should I watch TV for an hour or should I work on my blog for an hour? Should I record some YouTube videos or should I go to the movies? When we're making decisions, when it's entertain myself or work, the business mindset, the desire to make money will change everything. Because now instead of choosing between two different types of fun or two different types of entertainment, you're choosing from something that can give you a future, can give you amazing freedom and a little bit of fun. I love having fun. I love movies. I love going to the IMAX. I love all sorts of fun stuff. I love doing all of those things, but I want so much from my life and I want the same thing for your life. Creating the correct mindset, unlocking that I'm at work right now. When you have that mindset, when you have that approach, a lot of these things will become much easier. It'll be much easier to dial in your time, to achieve focus, to be efficient with what you're working on, to push yourself to be as excellent as possible. I really see everything I do as part of a business, and I do things that sacrifice in order to build that business. If this podcast was fun, it would be totally different. Right now, I have everything unplugged. All the fans are turned off. The air conditioning is unplugged. I even unplugged the water machine. I unplugged the television because it was humming. Everything is turned off. All I have turned on is the little recorder that this microphone is connected to. I'm not recording to the computer because I want the sound to be perfect. I'm determined to create the best audio I possibly can. And so I've done everything I can. I'm sitting here sweating and I'm very physically uncomfortable. And I wouldn't do that if this was just fun, if I was just doing a fun podcast. I'm doing that because this is something I'm serious about because it's my business. As much as this was fun, and as much as I actually really do love doing these things, I enjoy my work. This is me enjoying my work rather than me being at fun. If you look at podcasts and you look at people's online endeavors, most people quit. Most podcasts, they record 50 episodes, 30 episodes, 100 episodes. They always quit in 2 or 3 years. Very few people podcast for 7 or 10 years. They just keep going forever and ever. Eventually people get tired of doing it, or they run out of ideas, or they can't think of new topics, all these different things. They run into these walls and they just quit. And a lot of that is because they were just having fun. It was a hobby. But when it's your business, when you see the people who've been consistent, put an episode every day or once a week or 2 a week for the last 10, 15 years, you go, okay, these are people, it's their business. It's their income. There's certain people that are very well known for their podcasts that have 11 million listeners, 20 million listeners, 5 million listeners. And they do an episode, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, just like if they had a regular traditional radio show. They have the mindset of it's their job. They don't think of a podcast as a hobby. It's their job. This is my job. I'm at work right now. And I want you to release that mindset. Look back. You've probably spent money on stuff online without thinking about it and you never took it seriously. because you're like, oh, I'll try it out. If it works, great. If it doesn't, great. That kind of half in, half out lukewarm mindset is the reason you're still kind of struggling. What you need to do is say, any money I spend, I have to make back before I spend money again. That's the reason that I start off with very low price courses and work my way up to more expensive courses. I expect someone to work their way up. I expect someone to go through my nonfiction writing course, make back their investment by writing a few projects, by taking 10 article writing jobs, make back their investment, then make a profit by doing it over and over again. Go, okay, I'm feeling good about writing. I want to get to the next level, and I'll reinvest from my profits, because that's how I built my business. That's how I invest money. Fiscal conservatism, fiscal responsibility will keep you from failing. The reason people are very wealthy is often as much controlling their spending as it is controlling their income. Every dollar that you spend less this month is exactly the same as a dollar that you made from extra work. So the more you control your outs, the less time you actually have to spend working. Now, I know we've kind of been talking about a lot of heavy mindset stuff and this and that, and I don't want you to think that you don't have to have fun anymore, because I don't want this to stop being fun. I really enjoy what I'm doing. I love recording these podcast episodes. I love working on my blog. I blocked out, I think, 15 new blog posts today that are all in draft format. I came up with a new contest idea that I'm very excited about launching today. And I spent a lot of time blocking it out and researching how other people run similar contests and similar challenges. I do all of that stuff because I enjoy it. I could very much lock into less work. I could easily work less every day and stay exactly where I'm at in my current fiscal level and do fine. I could take care of my family, pay all my bills. Everything would be fine if I just worked 1 or 2 hours a day. That's really all I need to work to maintain my lifestyle, but it's because I desire to grow and kind of have these amazing ideas in front of me. The book, for example, I just launched, Serve to Master the book. That's the first time I've launched a book with my own name fully by myself. Normally, I have a book with a co-author, I work with a publisher, or it's under a pen name. This is the first time. It's all me, it's all Amazon, it's totally solo. So I'm really excited to do something new. So a lot of it is about passion. So money is a part of it, and part of it's a business, but it's also doing things that get me excited and kind of conquering that next mountain. There is a lot of joy in the journey, and there's going to be a lot of joy in front of you. There's going to be a lot of happiness in front of you. You don't have to leave those things behind, but you do have to be serious about money, because this is a business. I really want you to achieve financial success. I want you to pay off your debt. I want you to have total financial freedom. I want you to be in a position where you can quit your job. I want you to be in a position where if you want, you can travel the world, or you can spend more time with your kids, more time with your parents, help take care of people when they're sick in your family. Those are the opportunities that come when you're in a strong financial position. And part of that is having fiscal responsibility, being business-minded now. If you make those decisions now, then those other things will come for you. I don't really have short-term little goals for you. My goals for you are long-term. My goals for you to achieve those big freedoms, those big amazing things, those big life-changing moments. And that comes from making the right decisions now. I see a lot of people spend huge amounts of money on a lot of different courses and a lot of different ideas. They get shiny object syndrome. They get excited about all these different types of ideas. I have friends who every month they come at me with a new business idea. They're like, hey, this month I'm doing this cool thing on Facebook. And the next month is like, oh, I'm going to set up 20 different blogs. They're all linked together that are doing this thing. Or I'm doing this new idea. And every month they have a new idea, and the ideas never make money because it takes time. Not every business is going to make $1 million the first month. Wealth is a process, and it's a journey, and we're on that journey together. I'm here with you to communicate with you, to guide you, to help you get to the top of the mountain. But it is a journey. It doesn't happen in a moment. I want you to be someone who doesn't get caught up buying all these different things and not completing them. If you just learn one thing today, make it a rule that when you buy a course, when you buy a piece of software, when you invest in something, you won't invest in another thing until you make the money back from that purchase. If you buy one of my courses, don't do anything else until you go through the course and make back your money. That's how you know you're making the right decisions, and that's how you'll be very fiscally responsible. A simple rule. Don't spend more money until you make back the last investment. If you have that simple rule, that simple approach to money, you'll be very successful. You'll unlock mountains of wealth and huge amounts of freedom. That mindset will help you every time you're sitting there going, oh, I don't really need this, but it seems really cool. I can tell you right now that when I thought about buying the podcasting course, I bought a course. Actually, I bought several to teach me every little thing about podcasting, everything from formatting to intros to outros to the type of music to the type of calls to action, all these the little pieces, all the different ways of driving traffic and connecting everything. I waited a really long time though, until just a few weeks ago when I go, okay, now I've got time to really focus on this. As much as I knew I was going to launch a podcast no matter what, I waited until right before I was going to go live before I invested in this training. And there's a couple of pieces of software that I have on my website that help me publish the podcast as well. All those different little pieces that you need to upload a podcast and have it hosted and all of those pieces. I waited as long as possible to do this at the last minute because I go, I only want to buy these things if I'm actually going to implement and I need to make the money back. That's my mindset. This will help you when you're tempted to buy a course that you probably won't use for 6 months or a year. The thing you'll notice is that you get really excited when you see a sales video or a commercial or something that tells you this is the greatest product ever. But then if you wait a month, you suddenly don't miss it at all. You were just caught up in the emotion of the sales process. This is what great copywriters do. That's okay. That's their job, to make you want to buy things. I want to teach you as much as, yeah, it's great for me if you decide to buy tons of affiliate products off my site and click every link to every product I ever mentioned. Sure, that would be wonderful for me in the short term, but then your business would fail and we wouldn't have a long-term relationship. I'd much rather help you build a business that succeeds and us have a relationship for the next 50 years rather than try and make a few quick sales over the next few weeks. That's not what I want. Because I have the long-term mindset. That's to your benefit. I'm invested in your success because the longer we work together, the longer you succeed while following my path, the more it's going to help both of us grow. Please be fiscally responsible. Please start tracking the ins and outs of your business. Please be business mindset. Please stop thinking of this as a hobby. And please, if you buy a course from me or from anywhere else, don't buy another course until you complete the first course, implement the first course, and at least make back the investment you put in the first course. You've just listened to another amazing episode of the Serve No Master podcast. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll be back tomorrow with another amazing episode.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Serve No Master. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss another episode. We'll be back tomorrow with more tips and tactics on how to escape that rat race. Head over to servenomaster.com/podcasts now for your chance to win a free copy of Jonathan's bestseller, Serve No Master. All you have to do is leave a 5-star review of this podcast. See you tomorrow.